We've all used coding agents to get things done. Either you use Claude, Codex, or Grok, or one of the million options available for us out there. The problem now is no longer that I maintain context for my own coding agent. The problem is, how do we maintain a shared team context? We've all worked with this one engineer that worked on some cool new feature and merged it, and I have no idea how this feature works or what are kind of the inputs and outputs of this feature. And so I open up my Claude or Codex in this case, and I just ask it like, hey, how would this feature implemented? And it's gonna have to look into the code base to get me the context of how this feature is implemented. However, the problem is this code doesn't have the context of why did we implement the feature, what was the um, product decisions that were made around this feature, what was the customer requests that were made around this feature. There's a lot of actual context. What you get when you ask your Codex or Claude agent about code that was implemented is you get just a code understanding. You don't get the actual real conversation, the back and forth that happened between your team member and the agent to actually go ahead and build that feature. So this is what AQ was built to solve, and I just want to show you really quick how that works for you. So I'm working on a workspace here. I have my Codex session. I might even open Claude session, and you can have basically as many agents working at the same time. You have all of these options. There's a lot more that you can kind of enable from here. Some of you like Pi, so we added support to Pi recently. So, anyways, I do want to go back to Codex right now. And what happens is, let's say I'm having a conversation with this agent and I'm implementing a feature. I can just simply share it with somebody on my team, either a specific person or I can just share it with my entire team. And the moment I click save here, this becomes a shared workspace. You'll see here, this is an example of one workspace that is shared with one person, and we're collaborating on that same workspace. It doesn't mean that they can only write in my agent session, but they can actually start their own agent session. You'll see this, I can just see which session is mine, which session is theirs, and we can go back and forth on that. Why this matters? This matters because in this same workspace that we're operating in, it maintains a full shared team context. So when I ask like, hey, how would this feature implemented? It can tell me that, John talked to this customer and the customer asked this thing. And what John wanted to really do is 1, 2, 3, and then we can collaborate together on that feature and have this kind of deeper understanding that goes way beyond just an understanding of a PR or a diff or just the code. Basically, it's collaborating with team members on the same working session, also across different agents. So you'll find, for example, like, hey, maybe Claude can maintain some kind of variability of what people would call team context, but without having to dig into the details of that, that doesn't translate to, hey, Claude and Codex, and you know what, now we also want to open up Grok, and I want to use Grok subscription, or one of these other even open models that maintain context in a specific different way. And I want my conversation in Grok and my conversation in Codex on the same workspace to all be shared with other team members so that we can collaborate together. And if I close this entire workspace, I should be able to go back and open up a new work tree, and it still maintains that context and knows what happens in the workspace that I have closed. I'm going to be making a lot more videos describing a lot of the different features of AQ. How do you actually collaborate together? What are the benefits of the team context? How do we get all these agents to work together with each other? How do I get them to work with all the different models out there? Open weight models, frontier models, and any of the sort of models that you might want to try.